This is the S&P 500 Spider ETF SPY one-day reading for June 11th, 2025. It's currently June 8th, 2025, 11:35 p.m. Eastern Time. SPY at the time of this reading, $599.14 USD. And the shuffle video for the June 11th reading was created on May 25th, 2025 at 8:23 p.m. Eastern Time. That's this video playing right here. So what we're going to cover in this video will be the overall trend direction and chart behavior for the day of the 11th. We're going to give you chart behavior and timing for the day's highest high, the day's lowest low, and the best trades. And we'll even give you the hour-by-hour sequence of chart events as outlined in the prediction. So it's important to remember, guys, not each card's energy lines up perfectly with 1 hour of time, which is what these cards going left to right across the spread are hourly cards. But so there may be cases where the sequence of events is accurate, but the timing is off by an hour or two, plus or minus here or there. Usually the timing is on point, but there are cases where you need to give it a little wiggle room, and that's why it's the sequence of events that's most important to pay attention to. It's also why I recommend trading this information alone. Only trade this information if you've got access to the early access subscription, which has the game-changing services of the live day trade Discord alerts and live trading view chart links, where we actually draw the entry and exit. We're not right all the time. We're right most of the time, though. When we're wrong, there's usually like a way to fix it, because this is the only form of analysis that allows for you to have backup exits. It's really crazy when you see it, but it allows for backup exits. Speaking of backup exits, the 11th may be our backup exit for the shorts opened last week if you opened them on the wrong day. So let's get into it, guys. The overall trend and chart behavior for the day, we have a decline through multiple support levels into an important trough on a multi-day scale. Behavior on the highest high, an unexpected move to the upside, likely out of a decline or just an unexpected move to the upside. Behavior around the lowest low for the day, we have a period of volatility that ends with a fast sudden move higher, and that volatility, likely the decline through multiple supports, takes us all the way into the low, obviously, but within a period of volatility, and then ends with a fast sudden move higher. I'm advised to trade around the completion of a rally that forming a crest when it turns over. Now in the pre-market, we have bumping along resistance sideways, maybe breaking through the resistance and then bumping along resistance some more, but the majority should be like of the behavior throughout the pre-market should be bumping along resistance sideways. It does look like before the open, pretty significant price swings start. We have a trough right around the open, or right before the open and right after the open, it looks like, within a period of price swings. And then in the first half hour, we have a fast, sudden move higher, rally along a diagonal trend line between 10 and 11. Will end with a fast, sudden move higher, and then a breakdown through that diagonal trend line with increasing volatility on the way down, taking us into a low for the day, probably right around 11 o'clock, but it could be anywhere between 10 and 12. I'm thinking it's probably right around 11 o'clock. It looks like there's likely to be, remember the low ends with a fast sudden move higher, likely to be a pretty significant move to the upside out of that low around 11 o'clock, taking us to resistance between roughly, at a peak between roughly 11 and 12. We should see multiple failed attempts to break through that key resistance. And then between roughly 12 and 1, we have a disappointing failed attempt to break through key resistance, followed by a decline through key support. Usually when you see disappointment, it means there was like falsely established support before that point in time where you see the disappointment card. In either case, we decline back into lows, again, close to lows, not quite the same lows, but close, roughly around 1 o'clock. And then again, we should have a fast sudden move higher, taking us into highs for the day between the 2 and 3 o'clock hour, probably closer to 2 than to 3. We decline from that resistance at that high between 2 and 3, and we should return to that resistance before the end of the day at least once. So there's a bit of a trade in there. Where once we establish what that resistance is, so likely we have a high that's just slightly higher than the high from earlier in the day. The high here, we'll be looking for this high at key resistance around 2 o'clock. And once we've established that resistance, what we'll do is when we decline from that resistance, we'll be opening up long positions with the expectation to close out of those long positions probably before the end of the day. right around the close, we have a decline to and through support to meet another support. We rotate sideways along that second support before breaking down through more supports. And then in the post market, there's a bit of a rally, but it likely turns over, creating a sharp peak, a sharp drop off of a peak. Sneak preview for the following day, a big move starting out of a decline from the bottom of the range going all the way to the top of the range. So what I would be looking to do, guys, is in the midst of these price swings, I would be looking to open up. I would look for the low in just before the open to happen again just after the open. Now, if that takes place, I'll be looking to open up a long position and ride that long position into multiple failed attempts to break through key resistance. If we have another low before that happens, I'll add to the long position. And if that first exit at key technical price level, we should break through it just temporarily within the period of multiple failed attempts to break through resistance there, probably just after 11 o'clock. But if that fails to be a good exit, likely I'll take an exit here around 2 o'clock. And then the day trade would be once we establish that resistance at that second high and we decline from it, you could open up a long position, close a long position when we revisit that resistance. Which it'll likely, if it's not on the 11th, which it might not be, it'll very, very likely be on the 12th based on the revisiting of a crest as an innate part of the pleasure card, which is the theme for the 12th. All right, so that's the daily prediction for June 11th, 2025. My friends, if you don't know, the whole purpose of the channel is to transmute some of the competitive energy of the stock market into goodwill. We do that by following through on the rule of karma. You go to the resources tab of our website, Tarot for Traders. And 5% of all profits should be donated forward to one of these charities or a charity of your choosing. The point is to pay it forward, 5%, and keep the flow of abundance going on through the universe. 5% of the profit should also be donated back to the channel through one of these links. If you're international, you can use crypto, you can use Wise. And that's a way to say thank you for all the work that we do and all the free stuff that we give out. It's also a way to express gratitude and perpetuate more situations to be grateful for, because what you are, you attract, my friends. So these are metaphysical techniques to manifest a positive, uplifting, good type of reality in your future. Make sure to spend that 90% left over out of love. That leaves you with a clear conscience and makes you an angel investor in the channel. Universe will send it back to you tenfold for following through. Now, if you're interested in those game-changing services, you go to our website, Tarot for Traders, hover over Order Now, click on Subscriptions. The early access subscription, it gets you 30 days access to the earliest access to any of our public posts. They come out on our Discord channel here. Otherwise, you got to wait for them to come out on YouTube. And it also gets you the day trade alerts for SPY. I mean, there's a ton. This is like the 4th. This is all throughout the 4th. This is all throughout the 5th, the 6th. I mean, when we're wrong, there's usually a backup exit. So it's very, very difficult to lose money if you follow the strategy and the instructions that we give you. But remember, we're not right all the time. Most of the time we are, though. And it also gets you the SPY videos and the SPY chat. All of that stuff, guys, as part of the early access subscription, $150 a month. You make that and some back in just, like one trade. I don't have a huge account because I spend all my money on bills and whatnot, but I pay all those bills consistently using profits that I make consistently with this info. And then like last week, one trade I made $1,600. I mean, that was just one trade. Blessings to all my angel investors. Thanks to you that go ahead and support the channel with the early access subscription. I'll see you guys on the next one.